Yo, what's good, y'all? We got Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse review. So, yeah, he gonna tell about it, man. Not really talk about the whole movie, you know, not spoil it, you know what I'm saying? But it's basically talking about it, you know what I'm saying, and not spoiler form type stuff. So, but yeah, though, man, let's see what you like, you know, the movie. Yeah, Spider-Verse, like it's up.
Review, please. Hello, Spider-Man fans. Before diving into this review, please admire the spider people I've decided
You got a lot of them.
to surround myself with.
That's what's up.
You're not gonna believe me, but
Oh, I ain't even see them on top. Oh yeah, he got. Oh man, he damn near got a whole collection.
this is only like half of my Spider-Man Funko
Oh, only half of it. Oh man.
Pop collection. So with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, we are following
What's up,
Miles
though?
Morales once
That-
again
that'll come
a year and a
collectible.
half after his last adventure into the Spider-Verse. He's currently dealing with typical Spider-Man problems, having to balance his work life with his personal life. And in the middle of all this struggle, a friend from a different universe comes in, letting him know the multiverse is about to implode and they must stop it. And that's all pretty much. Without any spoilers to you guys, this will be a spoiler-free review. Spider-Man. Clearly, I am a big fan of the character. I have been for as long as I can remember as a wee little lad. And with these animated Spider-Man films, I always think back to when it was first announced Sony was going to bring us an animated Spider-Man film, and I thought, oh, what are you doing, Sony? That's so dumb. Why? Just give me my live action stuff. But boy, I was happy to be proven so wrong with that. That first Spider-Verse film
That's why the Spider-Man movie was fire. I'm already knowing.
is one of the best comic book movies ever made, is a great Spider-Man story, helped make Miles Morales a little bit more mainstream and introduce the idea of different spider people to a lot of other people. And we're not even talking about the impact it's had on animated culture. I mean, anytime you see a new animated film with just a distinct style, people go, oh, Spider-Verse. That's just like Spider-Verse, guys. Spider-Verse.
Oh yeah,
That's even
they
true sometimes.
Yeah, they ain't gonna lie, they do be saying that too. Ain't gonna lie, they do be saying that.
You can't deny the films had an impact. So it was a no-brainer they'd announce a sequel, but I wasn't expecting a two-part sequel across and beyond the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, we got part one. There's only part one.
So having
Part
witnessed
two,
Spider-Man
man, it's
Across
gonna
the
be
Spider-Verse,
crazy.
this was one of the first movies I had to keep looking at my watch because I was counting down how much precious time I had left with this movie. I never wanted it to end, y'all. There is really so much to love about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Currently, right now, it is my favorite movie of this year, and I think it is the best comic book movie of this year, and that's coming from someone who's seen Guardians 3 and The Flash. Starting off with some of the things I really want to gush about with this movie, of course, the animation is, again, testing the boundaries of what you could do. We heard that whenever Miles would be traveling to all these different universes, meeting other spider people, the animation style is going to change to fit that spider person, and man, they really do some creative things, specifically with like Spider-Gwen's world. That's a world where like from scene to scene the art style just changes. Oh, and if you're not fond of that one, oh, they got plenty more universes to show you. Indian Spider-Man's universe, for one, I thought had a really interesting, fun energy to it, along with some of the other surprise universes you might not be expecting to see in here. But the animation also, in terms of like the action scenes or even what they do with the villain Spot in here, it's way more stylized and vibrant than it was in the previous film. I also love that the movie had music to like match that level of intensity with the animation, because when the action scenes or emotional moments are going down, that music really elevated it. But I think the thing I was loving most about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is the maturity this movie was showing, man. It's still a PG movie, very family friendly for sure, but I feel like this is some of that serious storytelling that it's like, this was meant maybe for adults. It's really
Miles Morales is getting older.
heavy-handed with its character developments, its themes, its family dynamics and struggles. I think that might be catching some people off guard, thinking it's going to be a lot like the first film, where there's always something happening and moving. You know, characters are always fighting, or they're always joking, they're always quipping. You definitely get a lot of that in this movie, but for a good first half of it, it's characters talk. Miles dealing with that internal struggle most Spider people have about, you know, do I share my identity? Do I even want to do this job? Is it worth it? Do I actually have a responsibility? And, you know, same thing goes for Gwen Stacy. She is given a much larger role in this movie. One could argue as much as Miles. The movie wasn't just focused on trying to build or tension up this, like, romantic relationship between them. Gwen Stacy had a lot of development in this film, and in the fact the movie opens up with her, a very long but awesome opening sequence. Keeping in mind that they've already announced the third movie, it feels like Across the Spider-Verse was the film to do a lot of the heavy lifting, a lot of the setting up. This is a 2-hour and 21-minute movie, and while some people maybe might...
Me and my best friend
do you
Amy
feel the 2-hour movie, or do you just don't, or you don't feel it? Like, nah, it ain't 2 hours. And I mean, do we feel it? Hell, you probably gonna feel it. Hold on, y'all. I gotta add.
That runtime, I myself could have had this movie go on for 4 or 5 hours.
4 or 5 hours.
I did not want the story.
That means it's good. And if you can last that long, it means it's good.
I'm telling you guys, I really was checking my watch periodically throughout the movie because I was wanting to see. Okay, I still have an hour left of this movie. Okay, I have 40 minutes left. Okay, I have 20 minutes left with it. I don't think they're gonna resolve this issue. I have 10 minutes left. What's gonna happen? This movie brought back that feeling I had watching like the Tobey Maguire movies for the first time, is being really captivated and just immersed into a Spider-Man story. And that's like the big strength of this movie. The reason Across the Spider-Verse works so well is because we've had dozens of other Spider-Man stories already told on the big screen. This movie very much is almost like a deconstruction of Spider-Man stories. It's playing on those common tropes that we've seen in those movies. It very much feels like it's trying to break the mold from a typical Spider-Man story and be more than that. And that's something I really respected as someone who sees almost every Spider-Man story out there. Which is why I think people who are big Spider-Man fans are going to get a giant kick out of this movie. Not just, again, for like the cameos, references, and Easter eggs, because yeah, there are some great surprises in here. Had me clapping, had me smiling real big, and stuff we're definitely going to speculate about once the movie's released and we can talk spoilers. But all of that really is just like the cherry on top. It does not rely on the cameos and references. The movie might be built on like typical Spider-Man tropes and stories, but it's trying to expand on that. I saw one critic criticize this movie for being overly fan servicey, when it doesn't feel that way to me.
Question mark?
It's just taking what fans know about Spider-Man and trying to do something more with that. And I think that's such a genius exploration for a movie that deals with hundreds to thousands of Spider-Man people out there. Let's not just make these movies about, oh, this is Spider-Man with a guitar, this is a pig Spider-Man. This movie is about what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man and what happens if that's not what he wants to do with his life. But don't get me wrong though, Spider-Man with a guitar, Hobie Brown Spider-Man Punk, stand out in this movie. Daniel Kaluuya, who's the voice of it, I think he's easily going to become some people's new Spider-Man character out there. I was also kind of taken aback what they did with Scarlet Spider-Man. You know, Ben Reilly's been done dirty a lot in the comics, and maybe some people will feel that way here, but one of the best parts. Spider-Man 2099, Miguel O'Hara, voiced by Oscar Isaac, is a complete menace in this movie. You see
yeah, we already know. We already know.
Kind of the villain for Miles in here, trying to stop him from what you'll see happens in this movie. And I thought it was actually a really cool, unique way to go for the character. But okay, even though I love this movie and it is my favorite film of this year, I still want to be honest about some of the things I thought maybe were holding it back, or things that other people will really focus in on and maybe not love as much about this movie. I mentioned the runtime being 2 hours and 21 minutes. Now, I'm not lying when I say I wish it was longer. I really like how it took its time to like develop the characters, set up the situations, so then you could have the high adrenaline pumping scenes later on in the movie. But being that they're animated films and people still have that connotation that, oh, these are for kids, these are kid movies, I am going to be curious to see how many little kids are going to be able to sit through some of that character development and heavy-handed storytelling. Not for its mature reasoning, but like I said, it's dialogue heavy. A lot of it is, you know, Miles talking to his parents, Miles talking to Gwen, Miles talking to Peter B. Parker. The action sequences are fun, but they are far and few in between. I have a little cousin who's like 8 years old. He's super excited for this movie, and I know he's a fidgety little dude. So I do wonder if the movie will be able to capture the attention of younger kids for that long. And even kind of jumping off that point, one thing I thought they could have done to maybe shorten the movie a little bit is they do a little bit too much of recapping the previous movie. Like the beginning of the movie is
I do like one of the movies that they show, like I forgot what it's called, but Yeah, that thing.
Literally recapping into
They do that thing.
the Spider-Verse in a really creative way. I like the way they recap the first movie. You get through that opening, you're like maybe 15
That's kind of good though. Get people memory back in, you know, whatever that call it.
minutes into the movie, and then they recap the events again. And it's like, well, didn't we just do this? Why are we spending another couple of minutes recapping all over again? I'm also gonna say, personally, this isn't a negative for me, but after Fast X and that being a cliffhanger ending movie, I was surprised to see the internet hates cliffhanger ending movies, that they feel like they were cheated or only paid for half a movie. To me, I feel like Across the Spider-Verse does the cliffhanger ending well, where it still kind of wraps up this story or closes the chapter in a clean spot, but also gives you a little tease to what you can expect to see in the next movie to really get you excited. Like, I cannot wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse and how they finish off this story they have set up. But still, I thought I'd just mention it for those people out there that like hate cliffhanger endings. But really, that's kind of about it for me in terms of the negatives. I loved what this movie brought, and I can't wait till I can do a spoiler video so we can gush about it more. So for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, I'm gonna give action 4 stars.
4 stars?
You do get plenty of action sequences in here, although I'll say they're more towards the later half of the movie. But when you get those scenes, the music, the animation, oh, it is so fun and mesmerizing to look at. Commenting the movie, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. I think maybe the last movie was a little funnier than this one. There's still definitely a lot of funny moments, but this is a more serious story. It's a little bit more darker. Drama in the movie, I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. I loved the story they were telling in here, the deconstruction of what Spider-Man stories and tropes usually are. Horror in the movie, I'll give half a star to. I mean, you get Spider-Man 2099 getting really vicious at some points, but again, it's PG. It's very family friendly. The mature aspects of this movie, I just mean in terms of storytelling. It's very character driven. It's not what you expect in an animated film where everything's just goofy, fun, high pace. And suspense the movie, I'm gonna give it 4 stars. Definitely towards the later half of this movie, I am on the edge of my seat. I am like, how is this gonna end? What is gonna be happening? And oh, I cannot wait for Beyond the Spider-Verse. Casual fans into the Spider-Man universe, I'm gonna give it an A-. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it an A+, and critically, I'm going to give it an A+. For Spider-Man Across the
So it's gonna be 3C films.
Spider-Verse, to me, it deserves the 3C guarantee.
Top 3.
Truly one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made. I still don't know if it's my favorite Spider-Man movie. I want to see it a couple of more times, but it could definitely be it. Definitely want to hear from you guys if you want to go see Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, or if you plan to go see it, what you enjoyed about the movie, what you were surprised by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films, or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.
Okay, so he you know what I'm saying? He liking it, he fucking with it. And I mean, type stuff. But yeah though, man, coming to see it myself, man. Like a sub, hit the bell if you do. Let me know y'all watch the Spider-Verse. Let me know in the comment below. And